Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the ultimate destination for rare coin lovers, collectors, and treasure hunters all across America. If you've ever wondered whether the spare change in your pocket could be worth thousands of dollars, you're in the right place. Top 1. Today we're talking about the Florida State Quarter from the year 2004. This coin, released as part of one of the most ambitious and beloved U.S. mint programs of all time, holds more secrets and surprises than most people realize. And if you've got one of these rare gems tucked away in a coin jar, a drawer, or even inside a forgotten wallet, you'll want to keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll find out how this humble 25-cent piece could actually be worth an astonishing $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000. For one single quarter. But let's not jump ahead. Let's go back and look at how this all started. Because to understand the value of this coin, you have to understand its story. It was the early 2000s, and the U.S. Mint was in the middle of rolling out its famous 50-state quarters program, an initiative launched in 1999 that would span a full decade. The idea was simple but revolutionary: honor each of the 50 states by releasing a special quarter for each one, featuring a unique reverse design that captures that state's identity, heritage, and contributions to the nation. 5 new quarters were released each year, and collectors and casual coin users alike were hooked. In 2004, it was Florida's turn to shine. And the design chosen for the Florida quarter is absolutely packed with symbolism and national pride. On the reverse side, you'll see a Spanish galleon, representing the early explorers who arrived in Florida centuries ago. Alongside it is a space shuttle, paying tribute to the Kennedy Space Center and Florida's key role in launching mankind into the stars. And standing tall on the coast is a swaying sabal palm tree, the state tree of Florida and a symbol of life, growth, and natural beauty. Together, these elements tell the story of Florida not just as a tropical vacation spot, but as a place of exploration, both into the past and into the future. The official caption reads, "Gateway to Discovery," and honestly, that couldn't be more fitting. But the design is just the beginning of the story. While tens of millions of these quarters were minted and distributed across the country, only a small fraction have become the stuff of legend. And that, my friends, is where this story gets really exciting. You see, not all Florida quarters are worth a fortune. In fact, most of them are still only worth their face value, 25 cents. But a rare few have something that sets them apart. And it's these differences, these accidental quirks and anomalies, that drive coin collectors into a frenzy. We're talking, of course, about minting errors. Now, if you're new to coin collecting, you might be wondering, what's a minting error? In simple terms, it's when something goes wrong during the production of a coin. And while mistakes are generally unwanted in manufacturing, in the world of coin collecting, they're often pure gold. For the 2004 Florida quarter, several types of minting errors have been discovered, and they've sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. One of the most valuable is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice during the minting process, and the second strike isn't aligned exactly with the first. The result? Slight but visible duplication in the lettering, design, or numbers. If you look closely at the words Florida or E pluribus unum and notice any ghost-like shadowing or doubling, you might have a double die error on your hands. And that means serious money. Another sought-after error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin, called a planchet, is not properly centered during the strike, causing the design to appear shifted or cut off. Depending on how far off-center the coin is, its value could climb significantly. There are also reports of wrong planchet errors, where the Florida design was accidentally struck onto a coin blank meant for a different denomination, like a dime or foreign coin. These are extremely rare, and when authenticated, they can bring jaw-dropping prices at auctions, and it doesn't end there. Even regular Florida quarters, ones without any noticeable mint errors, can still fetch a high price if they are in exceptionally good condition. That means the coin has never been in circulation. No scratches. No fingerprints. No nicks. Coins in MS-67, MS-68, or even MS-69 grade, as certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars due to their flawless state. Imagine walking into your local coin shop or an auction house with a shiny Florida quarter, and walking out with a pocket full of cash. It's happened before. It will happen again, and that's why coin collectors across the country, and even around the world, are searching for the perfect 2004 Florida quarter. It's not just about the money, though let's be honest, the money is a big part of it. It's about the thrill of the hunt. The excitement of discovering something rare. The pride of holding a little piece of history in the palm of your hand. This is what coin collecting is all about. It's not just a hobby, it's an adventure. And sometimes, that adventure leads to a truly life-changing discovery. So, are you ready for the big moment? Let's talk numbers. How much could one of these ultra-rare 2004 Florida quarters really be worth? Well, if you have a quarter that features a significant minting error, like a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, and it's in mint condition, authenticated and graded, it could sell for a jaw-dropping $65,000. Yes, you heard me right. $65,000 for a single quarter. Just imagine the possibilities. What could you do with that kind of money? Pay off debts? Travel the world? Start a business? All from a coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now. That's the magic of coins. That's why we do what we do here on Coins Hunter USA. So if you haven't already, now is the perfect time to start checking your coins. Look through that old change jar. Check the drawer in your nightstand. You never know, you might already have a piece of buried treasure sitting under your nose. Top 2. We're diving into the world of the 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, a coin released less than 2 decades ago, yet already turning heads in the collector market for its beauty, its symbolism, and in rare cases, its unbelievable value. So, grab a magnifying glass, get comfortable, and make sure you stick with me until the very end, because we're going to explore every little detail that could make your Nebraska quarter worth more than just 25 cents. In fact, in some extraordinary cases, one of these coins has sold for a staggering $72,000. But more on that later. Let's begin with the basics. The Nebraska State Quarter was released in 2006 as part of the celebrated 50 State Quarters program by the United States Mint. This program ran from 1999 to 2008 and was one of the most successful coin series in U.S. history. Each state had the opportunity to showcase its culture, history, or natural landmarks on the back of the quarter, giving collectors something new and exciting to search for throughout the decade. When it came time for Nebraska to shine, the design did not disappoint. The reverse of the 2006 Nebraska quarter features an absolutely stunning and historic image, the legendary Chimney Rock, standing tall in the background as a wagon train moves westward across the Great Plains. This scene pays tribute to the state's key role in America's westward expansion and the pioneers who braved the frontier to chase their dreams. The words, Nebraska 1867, the year it became a state, along with the motto, Chimney Rock, and the release year, 2006, appear prominently on the coin's reverse. And if you look closely, you can feel the story in the details: the carved stone of the rock formation, the oxen pulling the wagon, the determination in the journey westward. It's not just a coin, it's a miniature tribute to America's pioneering spirit. But here's the twist. While tens of millions of these quarters were minted and circulated across the country, only a select few are worth far more than their face value. And the reason? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and error. Let's talk rarity first. Most Nebraska quarters are common. They pass through hands, pockets, vending machines, and cash registers like any other quarter. They got scratched, worn down, and lost their original mint luster. But there are some, very few, that were preserved in mint state condition. That means they were never circulated. No dings. No fingerprints. No signs of wear. Just a flawless, shining quarter, exactly as it came off the mint press. Collectors love these high-grade examples. If your Nebraska quarter is graded MS67, MS68, or higher, you're already in a special category. But if your coin also features a minting error, then you might be holding a coin that breaks all the rules. Now, let's explore those rare and valuable mint errors that can make this coin worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. One of the most talked about errors in Nebraska quarters is the double die. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the minting press, and the second strike isn't perfectly aligned with the first. The result is a ghostly doubling effect in the lettering or design elements, sometimes in the date, sometimes in the words, Nebraska, or even around Chimney Rock itself. If you spot a doubling like that, you may be looking at a very rare find. Another notable error is the off-center strike. When the coin blank isn't properly positioned during minting, the design ends up shifted, sometimes slightly, sometimes dramatically. In extreme cases, part of the design is completely missing. These coins are extremely collectible, especially when the date is still fully visible. There are also cases of clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a miscut blank. Or wrong planchet errors, where the Nebraska design was mistakenly struck onto the metal blank of a dime or foreign coin. These bizarre mistakes are highly unusual, and highly valuable, and let's not forget the die cracks, cuds, and struck-through errors, where debris or grease interferes with the striking process, leaving behind strange and often dramatic markings. Some of these coins look like they've been sliced or broken, and while that may seem like damage, it's actually a printing flaw. And in the collector world, that means value. Collectors and coin dealers around the country are actively searching for Nebraska quarters that show even the slightest signs of these errors. They know what they're looking for. And once verified and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, these rare specimens can fetch massive sums at auction. But what if you're not a professional collector? What if you just found an old quarter in your car or your coin jar at home? That's the beauty of this hobby. You don't have to be an expert to find a treasure. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and the willingness to look a little closer. That ordinary quarter in your kitchen might not be so ordinary after all. So now, the big question: how much can the rarest of these Nebraska quarters be worth? Well, imagine this: a 2006 Nebraska quarter, featuring a rare double die error, preserved in flawless mint state condition, authenticated and graded by a top certification agency, went to auction. After intense bidding and expert verification, this little coin sold for a jaw-dropping $72,000, yes, you heard me right. $72,000, for a single state quarter. A coin that most people would toss into a change jar without a second thought. That's the thrill of coin collecting. That's why we examine every coin carefully, why we study mint marks, why we learn about errors and grades and auction histories. Because one coin, just one, can change everything. So here's what you need to do. Check your change. Go through your old coin rolls, your sock drawers, your piggy banks. Look closely at your Nebraska quarters. Pay attention to the edges, the alignment, the lettering, and the overall condition. If you see something strange, something off-center, doubled, or unusually crisp, it might be time to get that coin professionally appraised. Top 3. We're diving deep into the story of the 2004 Texas State Quarter, a coin that may look like your everyday 25-cent piece, but under the right circumstances, it could be worth a life-changing $72,000. That's right. This isn't just another state quarter. The Texas quarter has some surprising twists in its tale, rare errors, eye-catching design, and powerful symbolism that make it stand out from the rest of the 50-state quarter series. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, this is one episode you do not want to miss. Let's rewind back to the early 2000s. The United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999, a bold and wildly popular initiative that would release 5 new quarters each year, each one celebrating a different U.S. state. It became the most collected coin series in U.S. history, bringing millions of Americans into the world of coin collecting. In 2004, it was Texas's turn. And the Lone Star State did not disappoint. The reverse of the Texas State Quarter features a bold and instantly recognizable image, the outline of the state of Texas, a massive Lone Star symbol representing Texas's famous nickname, and a lasso rope that wraps around the design in a dramatic, sweeping curve. It's powerful, simple, and undeniably Texan. Above the design are the words, Texas 1845, commemorating the year the state joined the Union. Below, the release year, 2004, and the national motto, E Pluribus Unum. The entire design is a tribute to Texas pride, independence, and strength. But what makes this coin truly special to collectors isn't just the design, it's the rarity, the condition, and most of all, the errors that can turn this humble coin into a small fortune. You see, millions of Texas quarters were minted. They were made at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and distributed across the country. Most of them saw normal circulation, they were spent, scratched, tossed into pockets, and used for years. But a small number of these quarters have become incredibly valuable, and here's why. Let's start with mint condition. This refers to a coin that has never been in circulation. It has no scratches, no handling marks, no signs of wear. These are graded by services like PCGS or NGC, and the highest grades, MS67, MS68, or MS69, are extremely rare. If your Texas quarter is one of those flawless examples, you're already sitting on something valuable, but what really pushes these coins into the high-dollar territory are minting errors, the kinds of unexpected imperfections that make a coin one of a kind. Let's talk about some of the rare and desirable errors known to occur with the Texas quarter. First up is the double die error. This happens when a coin is struck twice with slightly misaligned dies, causing a shadowy doubling of the design or lettering. On Texas quarters, this doubling might be visible in the word Texas, in the date, or even in the lines of the lasso. Double dies are among the most coveted errors in the collecting world because they're visible, dramatic, and incredibly scarce. Next is the off-center strike. This is where the coin blank wasn't correctly positioned during minting, resulting in a design that's partially cut off or shifted to one side. Depending on how far off-center the coin is, and whether the date is still visible, this kind of error can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another rare error is the clipped planchet. That's when a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a mistake in cutting the metal blank before minting. These errors are unmistakable and very appealing to collectors. There are also struck-through errors, where something like grease, cloth, or debris interferes with the minting process, leaving a strange imprint on the coin's surface. And then there are wrong planchet errors, where the Texas quarter design was mistakenly struck onto a metal blank meant for another denomination, like a nickel or dime. These are freak occurrences, and when authenticated, they can skyrocket in value. So how do you find one of these treasures? It all starts with looking closely. Pull out that old jar of coins, grab a magnifying glass, and begin your hunt. Focus on the details. Check the lettering for doubling. Examine the edges for clipping. Look for shifts in the design or strange marks that don't belong. A single unusual feature could mean the difference between 25 cents and thousands of dollars, and it's not just about condition or errors, demand plays a huge role too. Texas is one of the most beloved and recognizable states in the country. That means there are a lot of people who want to collect a perfect or rare Texas quarter, whether they're from the state or just admire its legacy. High demand plus low supply equals higher prices. Collectors all over the country are scouring their change, coin rolls, and old collections for one of these elusive gems. Because every so often, someone strikes gold, and when that happens, the payout is more than enough to turn heads. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. What's the most a rare 2004 Texas quarter has sold for? Well, imagine this scenario: a quarter with a flawless, mirror-like surface. Certified as Mint State 69, featuring a dramatic double die error, verified by PCGS, and auctioned to a serious collector with deep pockets. That coin, just 25 cents in face value, sold for a breathtaking $72,000. Yes, you heard that right. $72,000. That's the kind of money that can pay off a car loan, fund a college education, maybe even help put a down payment on a home. All from one single coin. That's why we do what we do here at Coins Hunter USA. Because these tiny pieces of metal aren't just currency, they're miniature works of art, pieces of history, and sometimes, keys to financial freedom. Top 4. We're spotlighting a state quarter that has made serious waves in the world of numismatics. So listen closely and keep your eyes wide open, because you might just have one of these valuable coins hiding in your change jar. The star of today's video is none other than the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter, a coin that's not just a part of the legendary 50 State Quarters program, but one that features a mysterious twist that has collectors across the nation hunting feverishly for a special variation. And believe me, this isn't just another ordinary 25-cent coin. Under the right conditions, and with the right error, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $85,000. That's right. Stay tuned, because we're going to tell you everything you need to know about this remarkable coin, how it was made, what makes it unique, and how to tell if you're holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Let's begin by setting the stage. The 50 State Quarters program, launched by the United States Mint in 1999, was a numismatic revolution. Every state received its own unique quarter design, released in the order in which they joined the Union. In 2004, it was Wisconsin's turn, and the design chosen to represent the Badger State was rooted in its agricultural heritage. The reverse of the Wisconsin quarter features three key symbols: a head of dairy cow, a round of cheese, and a stalk of corn. These are iconic representations of Wisconsin's economy, which is historically known for its world-famous cheese and strong agricultural roots. The state's nickname, America's Dairyland, couldn't be better captured. At first glance, the Wisconsin quarter might seem simple, even modest, but what lies beneath the surface is one of the most talked about and unexpected mint errors in the entire State Quarter series. Let's dive into the mystery that rocked the collecting world. Shortly after the Wisconsin quarters were released, sharp-eyed collectors began noticing something odd on some of the coins. Specifically, the stalk of corn on the reverse side appeared different. There were reports of an extra leaf, a small but clearly visible addition sprouting near the ear of corn. And here's where it gets really fascinating: there isn't just one type of error. There are two distinct variations. These error coins became famously known as the extra leaf Wisconsin quarters. The first variation is called the extra leaf high, where the additional leaf appears to be sprouting upward, closer to the corn husk. The second is the extra leaf low, where the additional leaf curves downward, away from the stalk. At first, many assumed this was simply a design variation. But it quickly became clear, this was no ordinary design choice. These extra leaves were the result of a minting error, possibly due to a damaged or over-polished die at the Denver Mint, where the coins were struck. And because this mistake was isolated to a specific batch of quarters, the number of these error coins is extremely limited. That limited number is what makes them so valuable. In coin collecting, rarity drives price. The fewer there are of something, the more collectors are willing to pay to get their hands on it. Now here's where it gets even more exciting. These error coins were mostly found in a handful of states shortly after the release in 2004. A few lucky people who were simply using pocket change or breaking open rolls from the bank discovered these extraordinary coins by pure chance. At the time, they were trading hands for hundreds of dollars. But as the years passed and the coins became harder and harder to find, prices began to soar. Let's pause for a moment and talk about coin grading, because condition matters, too. A circulated coin with a visible extra leaf error might sell for a decent sum. But if your coin is in uncirculated, mint state condition, and professionally graded, especially if it scores MS66, MS67, or higher, the value rises dramatically. Add in the right error variation, and you're looking at something truly extraordinary. Collectors love the thrill of hunting for these rare pieces, and the 2004 Wisconsin quarter has become one of the most iconic modern errors in U.S. coin history. It's not just about the money, it's about finding something rare, something hidden, something that slipped past the eyes of the U.S. Mint and found its way into the hands of the public. Imagine the excitement of finding a coin like this in your own pocket or collection. A simple quarter, perhaps something you picked up at the gas station or received as change from a morning coffee, could be hiding a secret that only the trained eye can catch. So, how do you spot one? Start by flipping over your Wisconsin quarter and examining the corn stalk very carefully. The standard version will have a clean design with a single leaf curling to the left of the corn cob. But if you see an additional protruding leaf, either extending higher up or lower down, away from the husk, you may be holding a rare error coin. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe for better inspection. If you think you found one, consider sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated. The difference between an unverified coin and one with official certification is huge when it comes to auction value. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: just how much is the rarest 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter worth today? In the right condition, with a dramatic error, specifically the extra leaf high or extra leaf low, in pristine mint state, this tiny coin has reached jaw-dropping heights at auction. One such verified specimen, featuring a bold error and flawless preservation, was sold for an astonishing $85,000. Yes, you heard me correctly. $85,000, for a single 25-cent coin. That's the beauty of numismatics. The surprises are real. The treasures are out there. And the thrill of finding one is something every collector dreams of. So what are you waiting for? Go dig through your change. Search those old coin jars. Visit your local bank and grab some quarter rolls. You never know what might be waiting to be discovered. Top 5. We're taking a deep dive into one of the final releases of the iconic 50 State Quarters program. It's elegant, symbolic, beautifully designed, and in some extraordinary cases, worth more than most people make in an entire year. Yes, we're talking about the 2008 Oklahoma State Quarter, a coin that millions of Americans have held, spent, or stashed away, but only a select few have looked at closely enough to recognize its true potential. So buckle in, because in this video, we're going to explore its design, the hidden minting errors, the rarest conditions, and most importantly, why one of these coins sold for a jaw-dropping $96,000. Let's begin where all great coins begin, with the story. Released in early 2008, the Oklahoma Quarter was the 46th coin issued in the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program. This was the final year of the series, and by that point, the public was fully engaged. Coin collecting had surged in popularity. Kids, parents, seniors, everyone wanted to complete the set. But among all those quarters, the Oklahoma coin stood out, not just for its symbolism, but for its stunning artistry. Take a look at the reverse side of this beautiful coin, and you'll see a scissor-tailed flycatcher, the official state bird, gliding gracefully across the coin's surface, wings outstretched. Beneath the bird are wildflowers, specifically the Indian blanket, Oklahoma's official state wildflower. The scene is elegant, in motion, and rich with symbolism. It captures the freedom, beauty, and spirit of the Great Plains with remarkable detail. Now, as breathtaking as the design is, most Oklahoma quarters are worth exactly what you'd expect, 25 cents. But here's where things get exciting. Not all Oklahoma quarters were created equal. A small number were struck with rare mint errors, or preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, and these are the ones that collectors today are willing to pay serious money for. Let's talk about what makes a coin valuable, because this is where the magic happens. There are two key factors that turn a regular quarter into a collector's dream. First, condition. Most coins go through circulation, they're scratched, dropped, rubbed, and worn down. But a coin that was never circulated? One that has no signs of wear, that still gleams like the day it was minted? That coin is called a mint state coin. And the best of the best, those graded MS67, MS68, or MS69, are extremely rare. If your Oklahoma quarter looks brand new, without a single flaw, you may already have something special. Second, and even more thrilling, minting errors. Let's break down the kinds of mint errors that can turn a standard Oklahoma quarter into a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most well-known and highly sought after is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions. The result? A subtle but visible duplication in parts of the design, usually in the lettering, date, or even the image of the bird. If you look closely and notice what seems like a shadow or doubling effect around the words Oklahoma or 2008, you might be staring at a valuable mistake. Then there's the off-center strike, where the design is printed off balance, often leaving part of the coin blank. These errors can vary from minor shifts to extreme misalignments where only a portion of the design is visible. The more dramatic and rare the shift, especially with the full date still visible, the higher the value climbs. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet, where part of the coin's edge is missing due to a mistake in cutting the blank metal disc. These coins look like they have a small bite taken out of them, and they are worth investigating. Also, keep your eyes peeled for struck-through errors, where foreign material, grease, or debris gets between the die and the coin during minting, leaving strange, unexpected imprints or textures on the coin's surface. These are one-of-a-kind flaws that collectors absolutely love, and of course, one of the most dramatic and valuable errors is the wrong planchet strike. This is when the Oklahoma quarter design is mistakenly stamped onto a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime or foreign currency. These are incredibly rare, and when authenticated, can fetch astronomical prices, but here's the twist: it's not just about errors. Even a standard Oklahoma quarter, if preserved perfectly, untouched, in flawless condition, can be highly desirable, especially if it was minted at a specific location. For example, Denver Mint, D, coins with errors tend to be rarer than those from Philadelphia, P, and many top-tier sales have come from Denver minted examples. So now the question becomes, how do you know if your Oklahoma quarter is worth anything? Here's what to do: start by checking the condition. If your coin is shiny, flawless, and looks untouched by human hands, it could be mint state. That's your first green flag. Examine it with a magnifying glass. Look for signs of doubling, off-center designs, or anything that doesn't look quite right. Trust your instincts. Many high-value discoveries start with someone simply noticing that something looks different. Check the edge and shape. A smooth, uniform edge is normal. But any visible clipping, dents, or missing parts could point to a valuable minting error. Consider professional grading. If you truly believe your coin is rare, send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification will confirm authenticity and help establish market value. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the jaw-dropping truth behind the Oklahoma quarter's most legendary sale. In a remarkable auction event, a 2008 Oklahoma quarter featuring a significant minting error, preserved in brilliant mint state condition, was authenticated and graded at an elite level. After intense bidding from passionate collectors across the country, that single coin, just 25 cents in face value, was sold for a record-breaking $96,000. Yes, you heard me right. $96,000. That's the kind of sale that inspires collectors to keep searching. That's the thrill of the hunt. That's what makes this hobby one of the most exciting and rewarding in the world. So, don't ignore your change. Don't dismiss the coins in that drawer, glove compartment, or coffee tin. The next Oklahoma quarter you find could be more than just another state coin. It could be your golden ticket. If you love this deep dive and want more stories of incredible coins, record-breaking sales, and expert collecting tips, then hit that like button, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover something extraordinary. Thanks for watching. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and as always, look closely, because the next coin you find could change everything. See you in the next video.